Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Happy Monday, it's new build day, and today I've got the first 3 boxes of the Agora Models brand new release of the Ferrari 250 GTO. Now, I don't know if we've seen something like this before. Now, obviously, if you haven't seen the video of the launch of this, where you can see the different versions of the actual Ferrari GTO you can get, check out my video here and that'll explain everything for you. But what we can get is an accelerated starter. So if you actually sign up now, rather than just get the packs as they come out, you can get the first 3 packs in one go. Now, when the 4th pack comes out, which I believe might be around about July time, you'll be able to continue monthly from them. So you can really get cracking by having all 3 boxes at the same time. Now, I've already done the first box, which you're about to see. There is quite a lot to do in the first box, which is why I am separating these into 1, 2 and 3. But it does go to show that you're going to get a lot of these videos out in the next couple of weeks, and you'll be able to see all 3 of these. Now, if you do want to sign up for the early bird starter, or you just want to sign up for this build yourself, I have put a link in the video description, and there's also a QR code in the screen. But this accelerated starter, something else. It's a really good build, this is. But I'm going to jump straight into that now. So without further ado, let me show you what the actual vehicle involves. So as you can see, we get a brochure again. So this is the Ferrari 250 GTO. I'm building the red one here, and this is what it's looking like. Check that out. How cool does that look? Okay, so on the back, basically telling you about the Agora Advantage Club. So when you've actually bought a model, then you've got advantages for every model that you buy from them. And you've got the Agora Promise as well, which basically states that once you've started a collection, they will see it through to the complete end. Now, if I just show you, check that out. Look how that's going to look. It looks amazing. And my eyes are slowly drawn to the spokes. I'm sure that's going to be fun when we have to do that. We've got working lights, aluminium body, the D-shaped panels on the upper bonnet there, the replica Ferrari Tipo 16862 engine. Look at the wooden steering wheel there. It just looks like an absolutely amazing car. It's 3.5 kilograms or 7.7 pounds, 57 centimeters long, and this is 1/8 scale. And I've zoomed out my top camera as much as I can because this does open out into a massive poster. Pretty much, I think it's every single Agora model build has one of these ginormous posters, which looks to be around about, I don't know, A1 size. It's ginormous. You've got to love a brochure and you've got to love a poster. And once again, I'm going to try and show you how big that poster is. I love these Agora model posters. Absolutely brilliant. But we're going to tackle pack 1. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So we're going to be starting this build with stage 1, which is the front bonnet and the steering wheel. Now, normally I'll put my part work upgrades mat down, but because we're only working on the metal section of the bonnet just for a short time, I'm going to use the foam that actually comes in this stage. Now, we do get our own screwdriver in this one, looking just like that. I will be using my own one, but if you don't have a screwdriver, then this one will do the job just as well, looking like this. Let's take the end off. God, you know what? That's so hard to get off. Let's cut it off. So there we go. That looks like that. And I'm going to show you now what the bonnet looks like, and check this out. All wrapped up. So not only have we got it in the plastic here, but the bonnet itself is wrapped in paper, like a greaseproof paper, just to show you how flawless that actually is. That's lovely. This is what it looks like from this side. Now we're going to be putting some hinges just into this side here. Now the hinges come in this bag. These are metal hinges, and they're going to be following the angle of the curve here. So this one's going to go this side, so it's facing towards the inside, and this one's going to go on this side just like that. Now securing them in with type A screws, they look like this, and I've put the tiniest amount of oil on the very tip of my screw here, because when I put this in, I am going into metal, and it will just help to make sure that goes all the way in nice and tight so that doesn't move. Now the hinge holds a hell of a lot of weight from the actual weight of the bonnet, which is why these need to be in perfectly and tight. So that's one in. Just going to do one on the other side here. And there you go. That's both of those in place. Just put that to one side for a second. And I've got some glazing in this bag here. Now, these are actually on a sprue, which I'm going to need to take off. Now, they are labelled L and R, left and right. It's the left one that I'm going to cut off first. Perfect. Bring over the bonnet again, and the left one's going to go on this side here. Now, we have got just some locating lugs just on this side, 3 of them, which I need to line up with the holes here. So get this lined up and push that into place. It's not going to need glue, because if you have glue in that, you're going to spoil all of that glazing. But that's what that looks like when that's in. Do the same on the other side. Cut that off the sprue. Seat that in position. I do have a glasses cleaner here, which I use just to get rid of any fingerprints I've put on there. But there you go. That's looking lovely. I can put this whole thing to one side. And I'm going to open the steering wheel now. Now, first thing I want to do with the steering wheel is just take this rubber band off here, so I'm exposing all the wires. And then what I tend to do with this, so that there's no bent kinks in there, I just pull the wire like this through my fingers so it goes nice and straight. I then want the steering rod here. And I'm basically going to be completing this capsule section here. So this section is going to go on this section just like that. It's held in with a C screw. They come in this bag just here. And screw that nice and tight. Now, this is metal. Check that wood effect out of the steering wheel as well. That looks really good. But that's all there is to do in that stage. In stage 2, we're going to be working on the instrument panel, and we're going to start on the left door. So let's get all this open. I do love how every single part is individually bagged here. The first couple of items I need is actually the fascia of the instrument panel, and then the fascia for the dials here. And basically these dials are going to go this way round inside here, going over all the sections, and it's just a pushing. So that looks like that. Now, get your magnifying glasses out, because in this bag here, we've got 5 small lenses. Now, each one of these lenses has got a little blue tint on it, and that's because it's got some protective film on, which we're going to need to release. So get your thumb out and just take off that protection. Now, it is on both sides. You'll probably find tweezers are your friend here to get these out. Now, what I suggest is, because we have been putting our grubby fingerprints on them, I'm just going to clean it and then drop a lens into each of the small holes just here from the inside. So that's one in there. I'm going to do the same with the other 4. So that's all the small ones in there. I want to take the actual instrument panel now. I've made sure they're all clean, so there's no fingerprints on them. And I'm going to be putting this into place just on top of those lenses. So that's now looking just like that. Check that out. Excellent. Now, to keep this in place, I'm going to be using some B screws. And I'm going to be screwing these in from this side just here. And that's holding that in place perfectly. All I've got left to do then is, in this bag, I've got a large lens. In a similar way, I'm going to be taking the protection off both sides. And again, just clean that with any fingerprints. This one is actually going to go on top of this middle dial here. I'll push that down like that. There you go. That looks brilliant. I can now put this to one side. The next thing I need is this door frame, which is in this bag here, and another bit of metal here, which is all protected. So be gentle when I'm opening this. It's like a pass the parcel wrapper here. Get this open. Again, protected with this lovely tissue paper, if you like. And what I'll do is I'll lie this down here just so you can see how nice that door looks. Turn it over. And now this frame is going to be going on the inside. Now basically it goes this way round. And I'm just going to be lining this up with the lugs which are in the middle, just like that. It's going to be held in with the C screws. Now I need 3 of these. So we've got 1 at the top, and then I've got 2 at the side. Turn this over, and as you can see, we've got a hole now just for the door handle, which looks just like this. That's going to be going into this. Now, it needs to go in this way with the handle pointing towards the center of the door. So let me just get that in place. Push that down. Make sure it fits flush in there. Once again, I'm just going to get my grubby fingerprints off that, and that is all there is to do in that stage. A big stage here in stage 3. Check this out, we've got the floor pan already. So get all this out, and the first thing I want is this piece of dashboard here, because we're going to be joining this to what we created in the last stage, which was the instrument panel. Now, quite simply, the way this goes, if I just turn this upside down like this, this is going to be going on top just like that there. It's fixed together with 2 B screws. So now that's looking like that. Now I'm going to open another piece of metal that I got in here. Seems like all the metal parts are really protected well, wrapped up. So this is part of the gearbox, as you can see there, all metal. Excellent. We're going to be fitting the gear shift selector onto that. And again, this comes in its own bag like this. Let's get this out. That looks lovely. Look at that. Excellent. Okay, so this is basically going to go over this section here. So when we put this on, it's going to fit on like that. It's going to be held in with a C screw. Again, I'm going into metal, so I have put that in some oil. And there we go. That's in like that. Just put that to one side. I'm now going to be opening up this metal section here. Once again, this has got a protection on one side. You can tell because of this blue coating. So it's just a case of finding the edge of that and peeling it off. Just like this. Oh, I love doing this. Ah, that feels good. Now, bringing over the floor pan that we got here, this bit of metal is going to go into that point just there. And once again, any grubby fingerprints I've got on there, I'm taking off with my cloth. Now, to put this down, as you can see, we do have an adhesive on the back of this. So I just need to take that off. And then when I put it down now, that will stick into place. Put that to one side. And in this bag, I've got a rail, or a couple of rails. And I'm interested in the one that's got a hole in it. So it's this one here. As you can see, look at the difference between them. This one hasn't. This one has. The one that's got the hole in it, I want to be putting the pin that I've got here for the adjustment lever in here like this. Make sure that goes all the way in. Bring back over the floor pan. And the first rail that I've got is going to go into these 2 holes. Probably best on the top camera. Here and here. And it's a push-in. Just like that. And then the second rail, very similar place. It's just going to go on here and here. And again, just push that into place. So now that looks like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. In stage 4 here, we've got some more parts of the clutch here. And the first thing we're going to need, once again, is these rails looking like this. And exactly like we did in the last stage, I'm going to be finding the one with the hole and then putting this pin in here. Now when I press this pin down, I'm actually pressing it down from the base, not the end, because you don't want to break that. Once again, in this bag, I can get this open. We've got another bit of the flooring here, which has got this protective film on. So let me take that off. Oh, that feels good. I get far too much pleasure out of doing that. Take this adhesive off here. Bring over the floor pan, and again, this is going to be sticking down onto this side, matching up all the holes. And then once again, putting this in this way. This one goes in these two holes here closest to the middle of the floor pan, and then this one's going on these outer holes towards this outside section here. So there we go. That's now looking like that. Put that to one side. And I'm going to be starting to work on the clutch bell. So we've got this section here. And again, we've got another metal section of the clutch bell here looking like that. So it does seem that anything that's metal is wrapped in that lovely foam material. So what I'm going to be doing is putting this section on top of this section here. So the way to orientate this, if you have a look at this, we've got a notch just in this side. That notch needs to be the same side as this section here. So when I put it in, it's going to go in this way like that. Just push that into place. There you go. Now in this open side here, I've got this tab to put in. That looks just like this, and that's just going to go into this section like that there. Now we already had one side of the gearbox here. I've got the other side of the gearbox here as well, looking like this. I'm going to be putting these two parts together. So what we're going to do is line up the holes. It's amazing, this is all metal, it is quite weighty as well. Once they're together, I'm just going to take a type C screw, and that's just going to go through the hole just in the centre there. It's now time to put this bell on. So that's going to be going on this side here, just like that. And then once again, we've got two holes down there for C screws. I am actually going to be using my PH1 screwdriver for these. They're big screws, and I can get the extra torque with this screwdriver. And what that does mean is that when they're together, you're not going to have any wobble or any gap. So that's in perfectly like that. Now I want to put a fascia plate over this to hide that screw hole. This looks like this here. Push that in. So now that's completely flush. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Big old pack for stage 5. Check this out. This is absolutely mad. This is the rear floor pan. End details on here. Looks like we've got one of the seats as well. But I am just going to put all of these parts together, even though there's so many, so I can just dig out this part here. Now this is the upper panel of the gearbox, and that's just going to be going into this section just here. It is a push-in, so that sits like that. And then on the bottom I've got another panel to put in, which actually looks slightly different. And again, it's a push-in into this point just here. There you go, that should fit flush in there on both sides. Put that to one side. And now I've got this ginormous section which is protected in all this plastic here. So if I turn this over, I'm going to be joining now these two halves of what we've got for this floor pan together now. So this is just going to be going on here like that there. And it's held in with 3 B screws. 1, 2, 3. I think I'll put the centre one in first. There you go. That looks good, doesn't it? I love that. Now I want to take support bar B that looks like this. This is the longest of all the bars that we've got. So the smaller ones are support bar A. These are support bar B. Now if I've got this way round, one side of this is going to go into the hole here. The other side is going to be going into the hole just at the back. Now I'm just going to see if I rotate this round. Make sure you put it in the right way. So I'll just put that one in there. I'm just going to put this bottom piece in. Just like that. Best to put the back one in first. But that looks good. All I've got to do then is take these belt hooks here. These have got a D-shaped pattern on, and 2 of them are going just into the back here. So I'm just lining up that D-shaped pattern. Get these in. But when they're both in, they should look like that. Going to be turning this upside down now. And I need to put these rear supports into position, looking like that. Now, we have got little places for them to go. They're going to go in this way here, just on top of those sections, and then pushed over the top of the lug. So that's one that side, and one this side. Now, this here is the oil filling pipe. Let's just get this out. And I do have a bit of piping that's going to need to go on this, which is in this bag. That's going to be going just on this end here. Just going to see how this fits. It's quite a tight fit. I'm not going to need to glue that in, but I am now ready to put this into the floor pan. It's going to go into this hole here, which looks kind of like a keyhole pattern on both sides, this way round, so it's leaning towards this edge here. Now that's going to be held in position with a type B screw. I've already got them open. So I'll turn it upside down and just screw that in. And then using my tweezers here, I'm going to be taking the other end of this pipe and putting it over this lug just here. So now that looks like that. Now you see we've got a slot just here. I've got the base for the handbrake here, which is just going to go into that slot. And it's a push in like that. And then on top of it, I've got the handbrake, which is just going to go into the slot at the top here. Again, get rid of my grubby fingerprints off this. But that's the handbrake now in position. The last thing to do is we've got two more brackets to put in, which are the support bars A. So one with this end here is going down the bottom. Again, I think it's easier to put the back one in first, and then the bottom one, like that. Do the same on the other side. A little bit harder, that one, because obviously you've got the pipe in the way. Probably better to have put those in before that pipe, but there we go, they're both in. And that's that stage complete. Before I move on, we do have quite a few things left over here. I've got a couple more hooks here. Actually, I've got 3 hooks, some screws, the seat belts, and I've got this little section here, including the seats. So the last stage of this pack, stage 6, we've got the other seat here and some more details. I'm guessing we've got quite a few details on this seat because it mirrors what we've just had left over from the last stage. So let's take this slow. There's so many little pieces on this one. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take this keyhole pattern of this black piece to put into this other detail here. So I'm just going to slot that in so it looks like that. Now this is part of the transmission. So if I bring that back over, it looks like this over here. I'm just going to be putting this into the hole here, making sure it's the right way round, like that. I can now put that to one side. I've got another bracket here, which we're going to be putting on the floor pan. This time, this one's going on this side here. So again, put the one in the back first, and it will probably make your life easier getting the front one in. So now they're both in like that. I've got 3 more of these seatbelt hooks to put in place, so I'm going to put them in this way. Remember, these are D-shaped, so they can only go in one way. And there we go, that's all 3 of those in. I've now got left and right stoppers looking like this. Now, this is the right one here. It slots basically into that point just there. And the left one in this bag, exactly the same way, will be going into this side. Now I'm going to put the seat belts in now. Now to ensure you've got the right one of these has got a buckle on, which is going to be going towards the outside. This one here doesn't, as you can see. It's this one here I'm going to be putting in first into the corner. I found the easiest way to do this. Grab yourself some pliers and just hook that onto that back section there. Just like that. I can now push that to the top, and bring over this absolutely awesome seat. It's kind of like a rubbery material looking like this. That's going to go into the centre here. Sit that in. And it's held in with size F screws, which I've got here. 2 of these I'm going to need, so it's just going into these holes here. That's 1. And this one's 2. All I'm going to do then is this back section of these limiters that I've got will get pushed into the back of the seats. The easiest way to do is to line up with the slots in the back there and push that from the back, so then you can push them in nice and hard. So that's 1. And that one's 2. So on the top camera, you can see how they look. Then it's just a case putting the seatbelt into position, again, using pliers to put the rest of these hooks into the holes. So 1 here. See how easy that is to go in there. 1 on this side. And then finally, we just got this 1 on the back here. Perfect. And that's the first seat and belt in place. And I'm going to repeat that exactly the same on the other side. So, clean the floor with my cloth before I put anything down. Let's do it completely out of order. I'll put the seat belt hooks in first, or loops should I say. Put these slots in here. 1 and 2. Get the belt, and again find the long side. That's going to be hooking in over here. Grab the other seat, that's going to go in here, held in with F screws. Push these brackets into the seats behind here. And then just hook the seat belts into position. I'm sure you'll agree that looks absolutely amazing. So we've done that. Obviously we have done the transmission with the gear selector. We have done the steering wheel looking like this, which has already got some electrics pre-wired to it. I'm guessing there must be some sort of switch in there. There is when you push that. And then finally we have done the bonnet with the hinges. So how many of you have noticed the continuity that I've changed my uniform? I'm actually filming this on Monday, but the actual build I did was on Sunday. So I actually filmed that yesterday. And I forgot to say that we actually did the door, and we also did the dashboard with the instrument panel as well. So quite a few things to do in pack 1. I'm sure you agree. Now, once again, you can get this from Agora Models in the video description, QR code on the screen. And do remember, you do have that choice of having an early accelerator starter. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.